ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule has been granted bail of 200,000 rand by the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court in the Free State. He is the 8th person to be charged together with 5 companies for their alleged role in the irregular awarding of a 255 million rand asbestos roofing assessment tender. The accused face multiple charges which include fraud, corruption and money laundering. The court has agreed to the request of the prosecution that Magashule be ordered not to contact his former personal assistant Morwadi Charlotta, who is now a state witness. The state has submitted that Magashule has cooperated with the investigators and is not deemed a flight risk. He will be back in court on February the 19th next year.
After then taking everything into consideration, I may then satisfy that the interest of justice that it permit the release of accused person on bail in this matter. Now coming then to the issue of bail, or rather the amount of bail that was proposed here by Advocate Rout on behalf of the applicant, and also considering the attitude of the state with regards to the issue of bail, am I then of the view that an amount of 200,000 rand will be suitable under the circumstances then for the accused person then to be released on bail in this matter. And coming then to the conditions that was proposed here by the prosecutor, and in any event it was then also not challenged by Advocate Rout, appearing on behalf of the applicant Mr. Magashule, is the conditions of bail then as follows. If the applicant wishes to apply for a passport, then the investigating officer in this particular matter, who's the investigating officer, Advocate Mason?
Captain Collins.
Captain Collins must then be informed or such, and furthermore then also it is then also ordered that the accused person not to make any contact, be it now directly or indirectly, with the witness, the name of which was then also earlier supplied or given here to the court by the prosecutor. I don't find it necessary then at this stage to repeat the name of the witness.
Magashule addressed his supporters after his court appearance.
This ANC is an organization of branches of the ANC. That is why I will respect the voices of branches. If branches say I must step aside, I was elected by branches at conference. I will go back to a special conference and the branches must say to me, Comrade Ace Magashule, step aside. I will then do so, because it will be coming from the basic unit of ANC, the branches which voted for us at conference.
Meanwhile, NEC member Tony Yengeni was also at court to support Magashule. He says Magashule is going nowhere and that he will finish his term.
Comrades, Silapa Namhlanje were here today to pledge our support for the Secretary General of the African National Congress, Comrade Ace Magashule. We are here in numbers, you can see, all of you are here, from all over the country, from all the structures of the ANC, from the branches, the regions, the provinces, and the National Executive Committee. Yesterday, part 1, the top 6 of the ANC had a press conference. In that press conference, the officials of the ANC pledged their undying support for the Secretary General of the organization, Comrade Ace Magashule. So we're not here, comrades, as individuals. We're not here as individuals. We're not here as just friends and comrades of Ace Magashule. We're not here as a faction. We are here representing the African National Congress. That is why you are here wearing the colors of the ANC. Black, green and gold. And we make no apologies for coming here to support the Secretary General. We make no apologies for wearing the colors of the ANC. Black, green and gold. We took up arms for these colors. We went to prison for these colors. We went to exile for these colors. We were tortured for these colors. Some men of Congress died for these colors. We made no apologies for supporting the SG in ANC colors. Comrades, the SG, the media tells us that he is guilty until he proves himself innocent.
What is that?
What is that? Because the Constitution is clear. The Constitution is clear. The statement of the top 6 of the ANC is clear. Now the SG is innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. And because the SG is innocent, the SG is going nowhere.
ANC spokesperson Pulema B says the party is pleased with the court proceedings and happy to know that the Secretary General has been cooperating with law officials.
The national officials of the ANC have already issued a statement to members of the ANC on how they are supposed to really conduct and carry themselves around this. That's why earlier on, when there were scenes of T-shirts of the president being banned and all of that, we spoke to the chairperson and secretary of the province, who were also here, that perhaps at an organizational level outside the courts, they need to find ways of addressing that, because the national officials and the SG himself has really spoken against such conduct. So if people come and they are showing support in their own capacities, they must do so in a dignified manner and not erode the good name of the ANC or undermine its leadership as elected at the 54th National Conference.
Divisions in the ANC were evident this morning as two groups from the party demonstrated outside the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court. Angry Magashule supporters banned ANC T-shirts and demanded that ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa step down.
Yes, we are demanding Cyril Ramaphosa and his bodies must move out of South Africa, not only out of the ANC. They are here to destroy this country. Now today we are taking a radical decision that Ramaphosa must step down, or the ANC must immediately call as soon as possible an NGC which will remove Ramaphosa, because all this is Ramaphosa's shenanigans. It is Ramaphosa creating this. Now this is a symbol of showing that in the ANC Ramaphosa is no longer welcome.
ANC Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte has condemned the burning of ANC T-shirts by Magashule's supporters. Duarte says the party is facing a crisis and it will stand united in resolving matters within the ANC structures.
Yes, there are people in the ANC who would very much like to see the president of the ANC resign and step down. But that is not the position of the ANC. And it is not the position of the structures of the ANC. One must ask you, who exactly are those people and whose mandate are they talking on? I recognize them as the ANC Youth League in the Free State, and they have said this many times over again. That is their perspective of one group of people. You cannot accord that perspective to the entire ANC. That is not right. We in the ANC are very determined that we will unite our people. We don't agree with people burning the T-shirts of our president on the ground. We accept that support for the SG is required and a necessary thing, and we believe that those supporting the SG are correct to do so. They have a right to do so. Similarly, there are voices that don't support the SG. What we hope to do is to come out of this, discuss and make sure that the ANC remains intact, and hopefully we will have that from the real ground of the ANC, the 1.4 million members who are not there today, as well as the 4,800 branches who need to discuss what is going on. It is a crisis, of course. It's the first time that the Secretary General of the ANC has been taken to court in this form. I'm hoping that we will stick to the facts, wait for the outcome of what, and hear what the charges actually are, and proceed from there and allow the law to please take its course.
Well, let's take this discussion further now. We're joined by political analyst Xolani Dube, and we welcome him right here to SA Today. Xolani, thank you so much for joining us on our program. Firstly, why do we see a subtle frustration from the supporters of Ace Magashule in as far as his court appearance in court is welcomed by himself and he's been cooperating by the law authorities?
Look, I think what you have to do here, we need to go beyond the grievances that we've seen in that court. And we have to look back again and know that what you have witnessed is not for the first time, and I can assure you, and it's not for the last time. The reason is very simple here. We see people who have been betrayed by what we call it 1994 elite transition. Here, ANC slept in bed with its enemy, with the enemy of the South African people, that is the minerals energy complex. And they thought that by sleeping in bed with the minerals energy complex and fooling people of South Africa by saying there is post-1994 where black people are free and post-1994 is our true freedom. And now people have realized that, look, we are not free at all. And so people, they use any opportunity in order to vent out their anger. People might think that they are in support of Cyril, but people are not supporting, they are not supporting Ace. As much people were not supporting Babu Jacob Zuma, but people are venting anger to say, look, that 1994 transition was a betrayal of people's aspiration. And so these court cases, as you can see, it attracts people whom I can claim are the condemned of our society. People who are not working, people who are poor. And these are the people who go out and say, here we are. We want to be heard and we want our voices to be respected. And so they use any issues that is next to them in order to go out and make their voices.
All right, so let's put this perspective very fairly so. If there are ANC policy conferences and people have a right to table motions for discussion and deliberation, why can't they raise it there? Why is it that every time when there is discontentment, it's not raised within the ANC structures, but during a court proceeding? And I'm motivating this question in this sense, Xolani, that, if Ace Magashule is in court for failing to play his role, oversight role over responsibilities of ensuring that the asbestos program is successful. Secondly, the Estina project. What's the relevance of these historical inclinations? Why can't everything be dealt at the right place at the right time?
Look, you have to understand that the ANC failed the people of South Africa because they were adopted by the so-called the ruling class of our country and being them adopted by the ruling class of our country. Now, the ruling class, it tends to use them to further their own interest. And if you are against their interest, the ruling class simple wipe you out of the political scene. If you are being wiped out of the political scene, know very well that your livelihood also is going to be in trouble. And so here, you talk about the policies of the ANC. Look at those policies of the ANC. They are not talking about redefining and reshaping the historical systems of apartheid and colonialism. And so next time, you will see someone else other than Ace. Remember that Babu Tebun Beginai once was the villain of the globe. And also Ubahu Jacob Zuma was also the villain of the globe. And now we have Ace. And the same system is the system that killed Verwoerd. That clearly indicates that this system is careless about skin pigmentation, but is about its interest. And if you go against its interest, it's going to put you into jail. If you are not in jail, it's going to kill you. If it's not going to kill you, it's going to make you a villain of the world. And so I think the discussion that we need to have as South Africans, so that we don't keep on witnessing this circus, this Boswell circus that was in Pietermaritzburg and now is here in Free State, possibly is going to go back to Johannesburg or to Durban. We need to have a concrete discussion and find the reason of why people in the ANC, they steal from the system that they claim is theirs. If they tell us the truth, that this system is not ours, we need to have a conversation that says, which system in this country that can accommodate us all, so that the black people in this country are not always being seen as people who are rogue, as people who go out and steal, but people who are honorable, who can protect the system, who knows very well that this system is theirs and is the system that protects the condemned, that protects the oppressed and the historically dispossessed. Because the people who steal are the people that we give our trust to them in order to fight our historical fight. But what they do at the end of the day, as you can see, the system twists them, and then the twist, after being twisted by the system devour them. And so what you are seeing here is the betrayal of the 1994 elite transition by the minerals energy complex, betraying the black political elite. And now the black political elite, they know that they are not in unison with the minerals energy complex. Hence, you see them now. They start to talk about the white issues, they start to talk about the minerals and so forth. 26 years after independence, I guess we need to have realization and see the real issues behind all this arrest and behind all this stealing from our leaders.
Now, let's take a look at how, at face value, this situation is blowing hot and cold at the same time. If you are going to have a solid narrative coming from the ANC, now the members, the supporters of Ace Magashule are saying that he is going nowhere. But on the other hand, they are saying President Cyril Ramaphosa must step down. Why does it suit them when Ace Magashule has to be removed by the branches of the ANC? Then why does it not suit them for Cyril Ramaphosa to step down? Well, he was elected by the very same branches.
Look, those are sideshows. This war or this black on black violence is an institutionalized hatred amongst black people. Hence, you have seen it even before, that there were those who were hating Thabo, loving Babu Jacob Zuma, and there were those who were hating Kgalema Motlanthe, loving Babu Jacob Zuma. And now, there are those who hate Babu Cyril Ramaphosa, loving Ace. But the question is, why so much hatred amongst black people? What makes them to be so divided? And who is driving this wedge? That's the conversation that they need to have. If they're not going to have that conversation, I can assure you, in future, DD will be face to face with Paul. And so meaning that the wedge or the cleavages in the ANC will be permanent unless the ANC sit down and say, look, let's go back to our document and let's see what unites us than what divides us.
You know, it's very interesting now that you're raising the issue of DD. We were talking of the Premier League in the past. And then since he became president, it was only this dual league between Ace Magashule and Supra Mahumapelo. Today, we see Supra Mahumapelo and Carl Niehaus. Break that down for us because DD is not there.
Look, you know, that's why I'm saying, you know, the shifting sands or the vulnerability of our political elite tends to make them find comfort to their previous so-called enemies, you know. And so here, people, they say in politics, they are no permanent friend. I don't think so. I think the issue here, there is a permanent friend and there is a permanent enemy. A permanent friend is the one who always fights for principle on behalf of the dispossessed. And an enemy is the one who always protects the interest of the oppressor against the oppressed. And so what I'm trying to say here, all these alliances that you see now and again, they are not principled, but they are based on expediency. That's why I'm saying it is time now for ANC branches to have a meaningful conversation around the policies, the system and structures that govern South Africa, and to look if those systems and structures that govern South Africa are not the one that divide the ANC, are not the one that devour the ANC, are not the one that at the end of the day, simple, make a historically oppressed person, a historically dispossessed person not to be free, even after 20 years of independence.
All right, thank you so much for your political analysis there, Xolani Dube, who is a political analyst, breaking it down on the Ace Magashule court appearance this afternoon. We're going to take a break and we'll be back after this. Don't go away.